Many years ago, I employed Fay Ripley to do a voiceover for a TV ad. It was a charity commercial, not that that matters. She was fun, she was chatty, she had a keen ear for the subtleties of English language delivery. She was a joy to work with. The reason I say this is not to name drop, but in order that I can say something positive about April De Angelis' new play, Kerry Jackson, in which Ripley plays the title role. This production, now the National Theatre's Dorfman, could be summarised as a weak idea which has then been badly written, hammily acted, loosely directed, and thoughtlessly designed. But, as I said, I really liked Ripley when we made that ad. Harsh words, so let me break it down. We'll start with the idea. On the right, firmly on the right, we have Kerry Jackson. Kerry has just opened a tapas restaurant near up-and-coming Walthamstow village. She's brashy, she's showy, she's loud, woman with no husband, no children and no regrets. What she lacks in business knowledge, she makes up for with cliche chutzpah. On the left, we have Stephen. He is the Daily Mail's image of a Guardian-reading do-gooder Labour voter in a cardigan bicycle helmet. A philosophy professor, residence committee member, writer for the local free sheet, he mourns the recent death of his wife by discussing etymology with his university-avoiding daughter Alice. There may never have been such opposites. It's like they've been written purely for the line, well, opposites attract, to come up later. Spoiler, it does. We enter a homeless man who uses the area behind the restaurant as a toilet. Kerry hates him for that. He reads books too. Stephen loves him for that, but he's a drug user and can be quite threatening in his behaviour. Cue confusion. Add a chef, make her a woman and black, introduce her as a not quite legal immigrant, but then explain that her immigration status is due to the intellectualism of her father. That wasn't expected, wasn't it? Finally, throw in an alpha male, an ex-copper with an ex-wife and an ex-drinking problem, for whom sexism is just words and self-awareness psychobabble. So, what happens when you throw these differing views together? Well, nothing. Nothing much. Nothing you wouldn't have expected just from hearing that anyway. Polarised views are stated, but not debated. Gaps between ideology and behaviour are shown, but not learned from or acted upon. Characters air their histories without invitation or context and without being listened to. Oh, and Kerry and Stephen fuck. Obs. And that's it. Imagine an episode of Miranda that was rejected for being too unsubtle. Or an episode of Steptoe and Son that forgot to contextualise the uncomfortable comment made. What you're left with is 2 hours of shouty predictability that lacks any reality, humanity, or really anything of any interest. In writing the script, April De Angelis seems to have forgone the idea of dialogue. Alarm bells should ring when the play opens, with Kerry telling the story of how she employed her chef. She is telling the story of how she employed her chef to the chef she employed, and the chef of the story is listening as if she's not heard it before. The whole conversation lacks any reality, and unfortunately sets the style that's going to be used throughout the play. Possibly wanting to make this feel contemporary, De Angelis has a list of provocative subjects she wants to air, it seems. And air them she bloody well will. She packs words into cumbersome paragraphs and forces them to be vomited out of her characters' mouths. The dialogues come from nowhere and then disappear. without comment or real reaction. People tell us how they feel rather than show any emotion. We don't discover these characters. We are given summaries of their life events as written by a historian. The play is billed as a comedy, and as if desperate to prove that definition, controversial or coarse statements are thrown in. Context is forgotten, timing immaterial. You won't get a laugh from an ill-thought-out attempt to shock. Frankly, a line about a 3-inch clitoris isn't not funny because it's shocking. It's just not funny. With little scenes to work from, it's unsurprising the actors don't fare well. I doubt anyone could do better. Ripley seems to be having fun, but her Essex drawl is affected and makes some of her lines inaudible. When reaction does come from the audience, she talks over them, so eager to get this out of the way. Who can blame her? As Stephen, Michael Gould is wooden and unemotional. His passionate views are delivered without passion, his grief displayed without sadness. There is zero chemistry between them. Their arguments have never been argued. Their opposing views never battled. They have just said some stuff. They fuck because they are the only two characters who could. The others fare slightly better. Alice whines with idealism. In her first professional role, Kitty Hawthorne just about manages to make us not hate Alice completely. As Chef Athena, Madeline Appiah seems the only one who's aware there are actors around her. Instead of just acting, she reacts. That such basic acting technique stands out. It says much about the low benchmark that is being set here. I will be brief. It's the nature of Indu Rupasingham's direction. Allow me to draw a comparison here. As a drama student, you're tasked with performing many different scenes with one or two of your fellow students. Aware of the fragility of your fellow students' ego, and any actors, and with no outside help or direction, making any comment on the performance of others in your group is only done when imperative. Even then, it is tightly wrapped in cotton wool and delivered over a bed of eggshells. So anything that is just acceptable, as long as it doesn't ruin the scene, goes unmentioned. It will do. This appears to be the approach to direction taken here. The action splits between Kerry's restaurant and Stephen's kitchen, both sharing a revolve that turns between the scenes very slowly. The restaurant is a small space that seems cramped, even though it is empty, aside from 3 tables for 2. The kitchen, on the other hand, is cliche nouveau riche, smeg fridge and oak table. These are both sitcom sets that might have been quickly thrown together having watched 2.4 Children and A Low, A Low. Little, if any, of the action is site-specific, so the revolve quickly becomes distracting and repetitive. Though, as it signifies we're wheeling slowly towards the end, there is some pleasure to be had from its movement. When the basic foundations of a play's idea are weak, it's hard to make anything good come from it as a final result. When the writing and the acting and the directing accepts and merely matches the standards set by these foundations, there's no hope. This is a play and a production that would struggle for a high mark as a student piece. It is incredulous to me that it has been given a run at the National Theatre, even if it is at the smaller Dorfman. Closing the space over the Christmas period would do more for theatre than running this play does. Fay Ripley, who I like, recently spoke about the stage fright that has stopped her performing in the theatre for 30 years. Sadly, I don't think this choice of play and the reaction it is likely to get will do anything to appease that anxiety in the future. I hope it doesn't stop Ripley from coming back to the stage.